Hello, I'm Gerhardt. Thanks for having me. My presentation is called Teaching Mediation with a Project-Based, Transfer-Oriented Third Mission Perspective. I will discuss the following points. First, the project Saarbrücken as part of DataPin. Then I will go through mediation and transfer. And finally, I will present the students who will be involved. And importantly, I have not taught this class yet, so for me, this represents a perfect opportunity to get feedback from my peers. So, as promised, I will first present a few details about the project. This talk presents a mediation class for university students of English at Saarland University as part of a major university project called DataPin. This so-called innovation project, Saarbrücken, offers students the opportunity to play part in the development of an application, fostering entrepreneurial thinking. The app, which will be developed in the framework of this project together with students in the mediation class, will allow non-German speakers to simulate starting a business in Saarland. The app may be helpful for immigrants in general, but it is mainly focused on helping the growing startup scene at Saarland University. The app will simulate all necessary steps, for instance, Anmeldung beim Gewerbeamt, so the official registration of a company, but it will also link to institutions that offer advice and support. The app can be used for in-class startup simulations, so for instance, it could be integrated into classes on entrepreneurial thinking, or also into a module that I teach myself for our master's students who do American Studies, British Studies, English Linguistics, a module which is called Career Orientation and Professionalization. The students from this class are generally on a B2-C1 level according to the European framework. The goal of our bachelor students at the end of their studies is to attain C1 and the teaching students C2 in English in the process of their studies. As I said, I will give you more information on the students in a minute. Within the mediation class, the students have to prepare content for the app. They have to mediate for non-German speakers, for instance, by translating or by providing explanatory text or multimodal content. By integrating the students in this project, we hope to raise awareness of mediation processes and to motivate the students with the help of an applied digital application that has an actual product as its outcome. The project fulfills the call for a third mission for universities, which aims to transfer knowledge outside of academic contexts. Here's some information about the funding. The Stiftung Innovation in der Hochschullehre Foundation, what I translated as Foundation for Innovation in University Teaching, was founded by the German state and Länder. They are part of the Töpfer Stiftung, the Töpfer Foundation. The fact that this is a foundation has to do with German federalism, but really these are just funds for, public funds for universities. And the foundation states the following, and again, this is my translation. The COVID-19 pandemic has put pressure on universities to rethink university learning and teaching, to develop digital teaching infrastructure and support, to promote innovations in the field of academic teaching and learning has therefore gained special importance. So they published their first program, Hochschullehre durch Digitalisierung stärken, Präsenzlehre, Blended Learning und Online-Lehre innovativ weiterdenken, erproben und strukturell verankern. Actually in 2020, a year before the official start. So to translate and state the aim of this project, the aims are strengthening university teaching through digitalization, innovation, application, and integration of on-site, online, and blended learning. So Saarland University has put in a major project called DataPin. In this so-called digital teaching plug-in data pin. We have 3 different hubs: an innovation hub, a knowledge hub, and a competence building hub. And Saarpreneur is part of the innovation hub, which you can see as the circle in the upper part of the scheme. Right, my next part will then focus on mediation. My assumption is that probably most of you will know more about this than I do, but so that we're all on the same page, I put together some literature. Here's the Common European Framework. In both the receptive and productive modes, the written and oral activities of mediation make communication possible between persons who are unable, for whatever reason, to communicate with each other directly. Translation or interpretation, a paraphrase, summary, or record provides for a third party a reformulation of a source text to which this third party does not have direct access. So the authors claim that mediation activities are have an important place in the normal linguistic functioning of our societies. In addition to cross-linguistic mediation, it also encompasses mediation related to communication and learning, as well as social and cultural mediation. And this wider approach has been taken by the authors because of its relevance in increasingly diverse classrooms in relation to the spread of content and language integrated learning, and mainly because mediation is increasingly seen as a major part of all learning, but especially of language learning. I assume that in this panel everybody has had a chance to look at these descriptors, but still as a quick reminder, as I said, I will be doing C1 to C2 teaching. So the goal will be that after my class, students can mediate effectively and naturally, taking on different roles according to the needs of the people and situations involved, identifying nuances and undercurrents and guiding a sensitive or delicate discussion. And I will skip the rest here. Or for C1, can act effectively as a mediator, helping to maintain positive interaction by interpreting different perspectives and managing ambiguity, anticipating misunderstandings, and intervening diplomatically in order to redirect the conversation. So here are the mediation activities and strategies. And if we look at the upper level of description, it appears that all of them are relevant for the students in the project. So we have mediating a text, mediating concepts, mediating communication, strategies to explain a new concept, and strategies to simplify a text. Again, from the companion, and my last slide really in this case with regard to mediation. Since this project will consist of a lot of translation work, let's have a look at those descriptors in the right column. Can translate into language B technical material outside their field of specialization, written in language A, provided subject matter accuracy is checked by a specialist in the field concerned. And then for C1, can translate into language B abstract texts on social, academic, and professional subjects in the field, written in language A, successfully conveying evaluative aspects and arguments, including many of the implications associated with them, though some expression may be over-influenced by the original. Interestingly, according to the authors, language A and language B may be 2 different languages or 2 different varieties of the same language or 2 registers of the same variety or any combination of the above. In my case, this is actually a really complex task since the students will have to mediate on different levels, from one language to the other, from German to English, from one mode to another, that is from written text to a multimodal digital format so that they can also use videos, charts, pictures, and hyperlinks, and also from one register to another, namely from official, standard German, what one could call bureaucraties, to everyday English that is accessible to students and also to a certain extent immigrants. Now, to finish the part about mediation, my favorite 2 sentences from the 2020 companion before we take a look at the idea of third mission. So we should never underestimate the fact that categories are convenient invented artifacts that make it easier for us to interpret the world. Boundaries are fuzzy and overlap is inevitable. That mission obviously presupposes 2 other missions, which in a German context are obvious and transparent to everybody in academic context. It's Forschung und Lehre, research and teaching, which are the 2 pillars of German university or their raison d'être. This idea of a third mission now claims that transfer is as important as the classic 2 missions of universities, namely the transfer of knowledge from academia into the world. So in their paper, these authors, Transfer in der Lehre, zivilgesellschaftliches Engagement als Zumutung oder Chance für die Hochschulen, Teaching Transfer, Civic Engagement as Burden or Opportunity for Universities. Again, my translations. The authors state, transfer projects are teaching projects that result from cooperation with external partners. Those partners could be companies, as is the case with traditional science and technology transfer in the fields of engineering and natural sciences. But in the main, they are civil actors such as municipalities, institutions, associations, initiatives, or groups. Cultural and social projects make up an important aspect of projects of transfer teaching. Or in another publication, die Vermessung der Third-Mission-Wege zu einer erweiterten Darstellung von Lehre und Forschung, surveying third mission paths to extend description of teaching and research. The authors write, universities, or actually I translated, universities do not only have an impact on their students through teaching and on the scientific community through research anymore. Oftentimes, by cooperating with external partners, they also make valuable contributions to society. Innovations for the benefit of the general public are created from partnerships between universities and companies, research institutions, or civic partners. Scientific knowledge is made accessible to the population in the area. Students and alumni act as a creative force and stimulate the region with input into cultural, political, or economic sectors. This output of universities achieved in interchange with society can be seen as the third mission of higher education. So importantly, the authors want to draw attention to the fact that the impact of university is much more important than what is usually called technology transfer, which often seems to be the sole focus in university administration and also from the point of view of politics. So if we look at Saarland University, we have Dezernat Forschungsmanagement und Transfer, which they translate as Research Management and Technology Transfer Division, and they offer 3 different types of transfer, namely partnerships with companies, startups, and patents. So this clearly does not include transfer of knowledge to other social actors like municipalities, foundations, cultural institutions, or any other civic actor as called for by this idea of transfer as third mission. And then we also have the super important Universitätsentwicklungsplan that describes the strategic development of Saarland University in the next years. And again, no trace of this general mission to have an impact on society outside of technology. We only find Technologietransfer, even though we are a so-called full university, which means we have a philosophical faculty, we have the humanities. So to continue with the students who will be part of this project, we have two different kinds. Let's start with teacher training, and this is from their module catalog. The teacher training students have to, in all, they have to get 300 or 240 credits, depending on the type of school they would like to teach. And they have two subjects, and in English they have to get 115 or 88 credits in English, plus a thesis, which can also be written in English for 22 or 16 credits. They have language classes for 25 or 20 credits, but mediation, surprisingly, is part of Fachdidaktik English, teaching English as a foreign language. One could potentially translate that 24 credits all in all, and this mediation class is compulsory. They have to do a graded portfolio for 2 credits in terms 6 to 10. The aim is that students practice to summarize texts and to transfer their meaning and content orally or in writing from English to German and vice versa, and that they analyze cultural differences and their mediation. These are the other type of students. Again, the module catalog, the BA class. The BA is called English, Linguistics, Literatures and Cultures. And what I should add at this point, at many German universities, actually in many German Länder, because this is Länder law, the teaching students would also do a bachelor and a master's degree, but at Saarland or in Saarland, at Saarland University, we still have the old state exams. So our bachelor students are different students to the teaching students. So the bachelors also have 2 subjects, a main one for 93 credits or a subsidiary or minor for 63 credits. For them, it's part of their language class. They have to do 11 credits all in terms 1 to 6, which means in any of their terms. It is a compulsory elective class. They have to do 3 or 2, depending on whether they are parts of the main major or minor students. They have to do 3 or 2 out of vocabulary, English for specific purposes, phonetics with listening, practice, written expression, advanced, or this mediation and translation, as it is called here, class. And as you can see, for some reason, which is actually unclear to me, as a learning outcome, besides the text that we also had with the teachers, they also have promotion of intercultural competence. Now, that is obviously not an issue, and I'm sure that this will also hold for the teaching candidates. However, I think one can already see one problem. On the one hand, I will have the students who will become teachers. They tend to be the better students in any event, since the teaching courses have restricted admission according to the final school grade. But also they will be in their 6th to 10th term. And on the other hand, I will have bachelor students who can take this class in their very first term. So I suspect that there will be a huge difference between the students, not only with regard to their English, but also with regard to skills such as self-organization or ability to do teamwork. So I was thinking of teaming up one teaching with one bachelor student, which the teaching students will probably hate. So I hope these were the most important factors, the backdrop of this mediation class. Thanks for listening. I will try to answer questions, and I'm looking forward to your suggestions and your feedback. As I said, I haven't actually taught this class, so any input is more than welcome. Thank you very much, and here's my bibliography.